Son, today I call you for a different conversation, a serious one, but full of my love. I don't come to accuse you or point out your mistakes, as if I were a stranger observing from afar. I come because I know you completely. I come because I formed you with purpose. And even if you get lost among many voices, my voice remains available, waiting for you to pause for a moment and listen. Listen with your heart, not in a rush. Listen with an open soul, not with fear. Because what I'm going to tell you is not a punishment, it's a call to return, a rescue, a light turned on amid so many distractions that have been blinding you. Have you noticed what you've been admiring lately? Have you seen who's been influencing your thoughts, your attitudes, your tastes, your lifestyle? Maybe you think they're just little things, just a video, a song, a series, an opinion, a style. But son, daughter, it's precisely the small things that shape the heart. It's not with a scream that you get lost, it's with a whisper. It's not suddenly that deception takes control, it happens little by little, in subtle compromises, in there's nothing wrong with it, in it's just a joke that the wicked start to become heroes in your mind. And when evil becomes admirable, holiness begins to seem excessive. Have you noticed you've started laughing at sin, that you sympathize with characters who despise all that is pure? Have you noticed your eyes shine for those who flaunt arrogance, wealth without purpose, sensuality without shame, and fame without honor? How many profiles do you follow? How many voices do you listen to? How many opinions do you repeat, not realizing they don't reflect me? You begin to repeat phrases, adopt ideas, accept behaviors, and before you know it, you're acting, speaking, and deciding like those who despise my name. Not because you hate me, but because you stopped listening to me. Because you traded the sacred for the popular. Because you started admiring those who do not honor me, and every heart follows what it admires. I made you to be different. I set you apart, not to isolate you from the world, but so you would be salt and light within it. So your light would come from my glory, not from the fleeting reflection of human fame. But how can I shine through you if your focus is on empty idols? How can I fill you with my truth if you're saturated with recycled opinions from the internet, screens, and conversations where I'm not present? What you consume, you absorb. What you see often, you defend easily. What you exalt today will become your standard tomorrow. Don't be deceived. The wicked are not only those who commit crimes or promote obvious injustices. Evil hides in charismatic voices, in sophisticated arguments, in popular speeches. Today, evil dresses in modern clothes, speaks with intelligence, is applauded on shows, and goes viral in videos. And you, whom I called to discern, are being enchanted by the same glow that blinded so many before you. This is not exaggeration, it's spiritual reality. It's an invisible battle, a war for your mind, because whoever controls your gaze influences your soul. Son, I want to restore your vision. I want you to once again notice what truly deserves honor. I want to teach you again to admire what is just, pure, honest, kind, and true, as it is written. Because what you admire shapes your character. What you honor defines your identity. You need to stop reflecting those I have not authorized as examples. You need to stop repeating phrases from those who deny me. You need to stop giving space in your heart to those who dishonor my principles. I'm not calling you to empty religiosity. I don't want you to live in a bubble. I don't want you to be alienated. I don't want you to fear the world. But I do want you firm, aware, with trained eyes. I want you to enter any space with discernment, to see content and perceive what is said between the lines, to hear a song and distinguish whether it feeds the soul or just seduces the flesh. I called you to be an influencer of heaven on earth, but you're being shaped by empty influences. Why, son? Why, daughter? You have my spirit. You have access to my mind. You have the wisdom the world can't offer. So why settle for crumbs of human knowledge? Wake up, there's still time. You can still turn your eyes to me and say, Lord, cleanse my gaze, filter my sources, purify my references. I want to do it. I desire to restore your ability to admire. Because the world wants to convince you that it's normal to admire superficiality, sensuality, sarcasm, and selfishness disguised as success. But I didn't make you to follow crowds. I made you to follow me. And those who follow me find life, find purpose, find stability amid chaos. You don't need to go destroy everything around you, but you do need to reevaluate what you've allowed inside you. Your heart is a garden, and what you plant there will grow. You can't plant garbage and expect flowers. You can't listen to mockers every day and maintain a reverent spirit. You can't follow those who mock the truth and still expect to grow in holiness. It's all connected. That's why I'm talking to you today. Be careful what you applaud. Be careful what you share. Be careful what you repeat, because it's shaping far more than you imagine. Today, I invite you to do an internal cleanse, not out of fear but out of love. Remove the false heroes from the altar of your heart, those who speak beautifully but live in darkness. Those who shine before the world but are extinguished before me, those who gain followers but have lost their own soul. Take them down from the pedestal and place there my son, place there my teachings, place there everything that is eternal. Because whatever you exalt with your heart becomes the center of your life, and only one can occupy that center without destroying you, me. Will you continue looking at the world as a distracted spectator, or will you decide to rise as a representative of my kingdom? Or will you keep feeding on the superficial, or will you dive into the deep? I gave you free will, but I also give you wisdom. I don't force you, but I invite you. I don't impose, but I teach. What you do with this is your choice, but you must know every choice has a consequence, and every little admiration planted in the heart will bear fruit for life or for death. I'm calling you to examine your sources, your inspirations, your examples, because while the world screams for popularity, I still value faithfulness. While the world applauds what shines on the outside, I take pleasure in those who are pure on the inside. While the world offers you empty entertainment, I have for you a joy that fills, transforms, and remains. Are you ready to turn your eyes to what really matters? Are you willing to renounce modern idols to reconnect with your purpose? Are you prepared to cleanse your heart of what seems harmless but has been poisoning your faith? If so, then come. Here I am. It doesn't matter how long you've been away. It doesn't matter how much you've wrapped yourself in things that have numbed your spirit. I still wait for you, and I can still restore everything. But first, choose. Choose to remove the unworthy from the altar of your admiration. Choose to raise the throne of truth again within you. Choose to live by principles, not by trends. Choose to follow me and not the crowd, because in the end, you become like the one you admire, and I created you to resemble me. And now that your heart is listening, I want to speak more directly, not to burden you, but to open your eyes to details that may have slipped in quietly, yet shaped you profoundly. Let's talk about how you use your time, those silent hours you think no one sees. Let's talk about how you use your time, those silent hours you think no one sees. You say you're busy, that life is demanding, yet how often is your busyness filled with distractions, not purpose? The minutes you give to endless scrolling, the hours spent absorbed in stories that do not point you toward light, do you count them, not as guilt, but as a measure of how much you've given your attention to what can't fill your soul? You weren't designed to live reactive, constantly pulled by the latest post, the loudest voice, the trending opinion. I didn't create you to be a reservoir of information, but a vessel of transformation. What fills you eventually spills out, and right now, the overflow of your heart is shaped by mixed sources. That's why your spirit sometimes feels numb, your convictions foggy, your joy thin, because you've been feeding on what's quick, but not what's lasting. You seek affirmation from voices that don't know your name, while mine quietly waits for your attention. Do you see how your thought life has been pulled in many directions? How your opinions are shaped less by meditation and more by repetition? When was the last time you paused after hearing a phrase and asked, is this aligned with truth or just popular? My child, spiritual clarity doesn't come from consuming more, it comes from filtering more. You don't need louder answers, you need quieter moments. Not just to hear me, but to recognize how far you've let noise become your guide. There is no neutral ground in your habits. What you tolerate trains your soul. Every piece of content you consume teaches you something, either drawing you toward wisdom or making you numb to compromise. Let's talk about your friendships, those voices that echo in your ears when no one else is around. Are they sharpening you or softening your convictions? Do they point you toward wholeness or normalize the very confusion I called you to stand against? You don't need friends who agree with everything. You need friends who remind you who you are. Friends who love truth more than comfort, who won't let you drift without calling you back. Because who surrounds you shapes you. And your speech, what are your words echoing? You were called to bless, to build up, to declare light in a dark world. But sarcasm has slipped in, and you've learned to laugh at things I grieve. Your words carry weight, even when you think you're joking. Don't underestimate the influence of casual mockery, suggestive language, or careless flattery. Your tongue can either carry my spirit or drown it in noise. Let's talk about your goals. what you're chasing when you think no one's watching. Are you seeking impact or just attention? Is your ambition built on purpose or comparison? You've measured success by likes, views, applause, but I measure it in fruit that lasts. Fame may look like influence, but without truth, it's just echoing emptiness. And I did not call you to echo. I called you to stand, to speak, to live differently. There's a reason you felt dry at times, like something deep inside is tired even when your body isn't. Because when the soul is fed empty things, it starts to starve for meaning. And I am the bread that satisfies. But I won't compete with crumbs you keep reaching for. I wait for you to return, not with shame but with readiness. Because the moment you turn back, I begin restoring. It's not too late to change your direction. You don't have to throw your phone away or isolate from culture to be holy. But you must be intentional. You must start asking better questions. Does this feed my spirit or flatter my ego? Would I admire this if I were standing in front of him who sees all? Holiness doesn't begin with rules, it begins with reverence, a heart that still trembles at what offends me, not because of fear, but because of love. You were made to carry fire, my fire, not just passively exist, but you can't carry fire and stay soaked in compromise. You must choose what burns within you, because what burns within you will guide what you burn for. You've been told to be tolerant of everything, even what poisons your soul. But love doesn't tolerate what destroys, it confronts it, gently but boldly. You must learn to recognize lies even when they come wrapped in charm. You must learn to love people deeply, but not adopt every idea they celebrate. Discernment isn't judgment, it's protection. And I gave it to you so you wouldn't lose your way in a world with no compass. I'm not calling you to live afraid, I'm calling you to live awake, to see with clarity what is praised but hollow, to detect what is loud but empty, to admire not what glitters but what endures, because your admiration is the soil where identity grows. And if you plant admiration in lies, your sense of self will grow crooked. Let's look at your creativity. I gave it to you to reflect my beauty, my truth, my excellence. But have you used your gifts to glorify self or point to me? Have your talents become a platform for applause or an altar of worship? Whatever you create carries a message. What message are you sending? You can either blend in or you can stand out with purpose. And now, my child, this is the turning point, not a dramatic scene, but a quiet decision. To examine what you've built your inner world upon, to clear the idols you didn't even realize you erected, to remove not just what is evil, but what is empty. Because emptiness still takes space, and I want to fill every part of you. Let me teach you again what beauty is. Let me shape your admiration so it doesn't betray your identity. Let me show you joy that isn't performative. Let me walk with you as you detox your heart from culture's residue. This won't be a one-day cleanse. It's a lifelong alignment, but it will be worth it. Because peace will return, discernment will sharpen.